not like it's a,
As far as I know, everything's in place. Jason? Good, how are you?
I've seen crazy things. I've seen people commit video cameras.
yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, man. I don't get it all the meetings. I'll tell you, I calculated how many evening meetings I went to this past year. It seemed like a lot of trouble. Mondays through Thursdays. And I did a special job in this town.
Yeah, I came back this morning. I stopped at US Municipal this morning, picked up stuff. No, they were all spikes run together.
Right.
You can't shoot nothing with a 3-point.
To deal with any legal issues.
Okay.
The furnace is broke. The furnace is broke. No, yeah,
Okay. 328, thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
let me know if that's where you want to start, because I would get it, pull my cell phone from over there. Or,
Shirley. Hey, this is Sean calling for David. Hey, did you hear from Dave?
I guess that's the same agenda she sent.
Well, I was just wondering, his truck's still over there from field. And go ahead. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I stopped there and, so I said to Dad, we come down here to the meeting, I said, well, that's not like it to be, you know, that late. I shined the light, and see if I could see him, I couldn't see him
I have
anywhere.
a son. He's
Okay.
33. He's in the Air Force. Not married.
Okay.
He's stationed in Georgia.
All right,
Right now.
all right.
Every 4 years, they move him. He's going to be, which would make me very happy. Instead of a 6-hour flight, a 4-hour drive. Yeah, I won't be until January sometime.
It's gonna make it very early.
Yes. We're good. I see that. It's a cargo plane. Yeah. This makes me a little nervous. Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
I do.
My daughter lives in the city of Philadelphia.
Oh.
She had 3 bikes stolen, 2 iPhones. She's got to get my car anyway. She survives this.
Your hair gets grayer, but she's right.
She comes out of it, she'll be a tough person.
I guess.
And I'm sure your situation is a lot different.
Well, he tells me, Mom, this is what I signed up for.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, yes, he is. Oh, you won't be doing it probably. He has to go to Oklahoma for training. So often. Kind of messed up his schedule. He had everything ready to go. He told me about going to Oklahoma for training. Sure. I had to pull that flag out. There's Jody.
You get it, man? Oh, yeah. I'm an electrician.
Did you pull that flag out?
Yeah. Well, it's 75 when I talked to my truck. When I got there, I saw it had a beer in the black line.
Yeah, I know. I say Bob and helps.
Ron Bob.
Talk to Bob for a second, real quick.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did Tom call you? Okay, well, here's what he called me. Oh, he did call me, and he said his mother passed away, and that's was body was down. Well, gosh, I wasn't personally calling because I said, would you mind calling Nancy and tell her? So I did get a call from him talking about there was a death in the family, and that is really kind of chewed things up. He's fine with everything, you know, as far as getting things done. So I'm
Taking things to court.
yes.
I'm sure make that motion. To take all of our stuff to him.
Okay, all right.
You mean Carl and I talked about that too, but he doesn't know.
No, because I did mention that too.
Okay, okay.
Because I said, I didn't know what, if there were more issues or if
Right.
that was a problem or not.
Right.
That being the case, if it would make it easier for you, here's what we've come up with as a suggestion. He said, I'll be honest with you. He said, let me just tell you what happened. My mom passed away about a month ago, was sick prior to that.
Yeah.
And I'm the executor for the estate. And it's just, nothing's been on my mind but my mom. And I said, I understand. So, anyway, so that at least explains it.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
It's going to be done in the next month or so.
Right,
That's-
and I said, we got a letter from the state, and I
Yeah.
said, that's what's really kind of pushing the issue here.
Right.
So he said, I'll make sure, you know, so anyway, I said, if you wouldn't mind calling Nancy, so her fears are allayed, and this, that'd be nice. But I said, I really appreciate you taking the time to call me
Yeah.
and explain things.
Yeah. Well, I knew he had family issues.
You know, what, that's
Yeah,
what
I
it is.
definitely understand that. 6:30?
Yep.
6:30, ready?
6:30, yep.
We'll start our meeting with the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just so you know, the meeting is being recorded multiple times, it looks like.
Yeah,
So,
okay, I'll make a motion, we address Frank Pouse's resignation.
I rescinded my resignation.
We still got to go.
okay. Yeah, I'd like to read this, if you don't mind.
Let me give a
Motion.
motion there.
Oh, I'm
Mike.
sorry.
Well,
Second
just-
your motion.
Yeah,
All in favor?
Well, just for the record, I rescinded my resignation. It's no longer on the table.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
You
go
can-
ahead.
You've had a motion and a second.
yes.
You want to
All
vote?
in favor, aye?
Aye.
What was the action?
To address,
Making the
To
motion.
address it.
Yes.
All right, now I've rescinded my resignation.
we still have to go the route to address it.
Okay, so I would like to read this, if everyone can be patient for a few minutes, if you wouldn't mind. Okay, I make a motion to amend the agenda to show that Watts Township received an email from Supervisor Paust on the morning of November 21st, 2014, the day following an executive session he had requested to discuss his resignation, and the day following an extended period of days, again, that he had requested to contemplate that decision. That email stated that Supervisor Paust resigned his position as a supervisor of Watts Township effective as of December 3rd, 2014. Today, December 3rd, 2014, at 4:29 p.m., 2 hours prior to this public supervisors meeting, Mr. Paust sent an email to the Watts Township office rescinding his resignation, pulling it back. Therefore, as per the motion passed at last month's public meeting, this matter will be immediately referred to the Perry County District Attorney by our township solicitor to have Mr. Paust legally removed from office. Watts Township officials will no longer deal with this matter. From this point forward, the matter of Mr. Paust's resignation will now be in the hands of the Perry County District Attorney and Perry County Court of Common Pleas. May I get a second on that motion? That's a motion I made.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Which part of that was the motion?
The whole thing. It is amending the agenda. That's what I was doing there.
So the whole thing that you read?
The whole thing that I
is a-
read. It's going to be as
is
is.
a motion.
Yes. Okay, got a second?
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed.
Opposed, one opposed. And it's turned over to Linus.
Okay.
Yeah, I just, well, first of all, I'm here for about a half an hour tonight, and I have to go to another meeting, but if there's any legal issues, I would like to have the opportunity to address those at the beginning of the meeting. I think you've already addressed the resignation issue, which would not become effective until accepted by the township. The township did not have the opportunity to accept it before it was rescinded. And I've previously given a memo to this township indicating that the district attorney is the official responsible in dealing with a supervisor who has an eligibility issue. It's up to the district attorney in a quo warranto legal action, and the district attorney will handle that in that manner. That is the legal mechanism in dealing with this issue. And I basically have, like I said, I conveyed that to Supervisor Paust. I've conveyed it to the township, and under the law, until a resignation of a supervisor is formally accepted, technically it's not effective. So that's where you're at on that issue.
Okay, now we'll get reading of the minutes.
Sean had a question.
So I just have a quick question. Gentlemen, sir, can you state your name? I don't know who you are.
And my name is Linus Fenical. I'm the solicitor to the township.
Okay, thank you.
Now, we're going with we had an executive meeting on the 20th, so you people all know that. But there was no minutes for that, but we did have a meeting.
What was the purpose of that meeting was legal matters?
It was accepting,
It was
getting
going on
your
the
resignation,
I understand.
whether you were going to turn in a resignation or not.
I have a question for Linus.
Okay.
What
Legal
purpose
matters,
can
yes.
we have an executive session for?
Well, it's
Legal matters?
potential legal action,
Legal
Yes.
matters.
Okay.
So the purpose of the meeting was legal matters.
potential.
Is that's appropriate for our
Yes.
minutes?
Yes. Okay.
The Watts Township Board of Supervisors meeting was called to order at 6:30 p.m. November 5th, 2014 at the New Buffalo Fire Hall by Chairman Carl Radinsky. Secretary Conjoli was asked by Chairman Radinsky to read a memo stating his legal opinion as solicitor for the township from Solicitor Fenical dated November 5th, 2014 regarding Supervisor Paust and his conviction for violating the election law and the loss of voting rights for 4 years as a penalty. He cited Section 401 of the Second-Class Township Code. No person is eligible for the office of supervisor, auditor, or tax collector in any township unless that person is an elector of the township. In order to be an elector of the township, you must be a duly qualified voter. He stated his real concern about the legal implication of Supervisor Paust making decisions on township matters when he no longer meets the eligibility requirements to be a supervisor. Supervisor Gutau asked Supervisor Paust what his response to that memo was. Supervisor Paust stated he can't respond to a legal matter that was just put before him. A motion was made to have the township solicitor file a quo warranto with the district attorney on behalf of Watts Township Board of Supervisors to remove Mr. Paust from his position as Watts Township Supervisor. Gutau. Motion died for a lack of second. An executive session will be held November 20th, 2014 at 7 p.m. for Supervisor Paust's decision on his resignation. A motion was made to have the township solicitor file a quo warranto with the district attorney on behalf of the Watts Township Board of Supervisors to remove Mr. Paust from his position as a Watts Township Supervisor. Supervisor Paust has 15 days to respond at the executive session. If at that point of time his resignation is not sent in or given to the board, his resignation as a supervisor, the motion will be acted on. Gutau, Radinsky, motion opposed. Paust opposed. Motion carried. Secretary Conjoli was asked to read Supervisor Gutau's email dated November 5th, 2014, calling for Supervisor Paust's voluntary resignation. A motion was made to approve the minutes as read. Gutau, Radinsky, Paust abstained. Motion carried. A motion was made to approve the October 21st, 2014 budget minutes as read. Gutau, Radinsky, motion carried unanimously. Zoning officer, no permits were issued for October. Bob has been corresponding with Jack Thomas, the wireless tower manager, asking him why they have not landscaped around the fence. Their solicitor advised him there were no trees on the drawing submitted. Bob referred him to Section 485.2-G. He has not received any correspondence back. 2 letters regarding removal of asbestos from Amity Hall have been received. The demolition of the structure has begun. Engineer, nothing on the general permit, GP, for the stream bank. Luke Stepp wants to change his driveway location about 90 feet north of the current location on Circle Road. The speed limit would need to be lowered and a traffic study to change the speed limit would need to be done. 2 new speed limit signs to reduce speed ahead and posts would have to be purchased by Mr. Stepp. Jerry will issue a written estimate of the total cost and get a written agreement from Mr. Stepp. Carl estimated the cost at $75 per sign to include installation. A motion was made that if Mr. Stepp is agreeable to all the costs of all the expenses, Jerry can proceed with the traffic study. Gutau, Radinsky, motion carried. Fire company, the financial report for October was submitted. They are still working on funding for the AEDs. There was a question as to how many residents are to be on private lanes for fire dispatch calls. Nancy will check with 911 and let them know of the addresses on Pond Lane and Fox Lane. Old business, Rising Sun, the letter will be prepared and reviewed by the board before sending out to the residents. New business, a motion was made to adopt Resolution 14-05 establishing the tax rate of .2163 for real estate and .6000 for fire for 2015. Radinsky, Gutau, motion carried. The 2014 year-end report will be submitted by the Secretary at the February 2015 meeting. A motion was made to advertise the proposed 2015 budget. Radinsky, Gutau, motion carried. The grant for the Act 537 update was denied. Carl will be attending the COG meeting on November 13th, 2014. Roadmaster, line painting will be done November 11th, 2014. The center yellow lines will be done, and the price of doing additional white lines will be checked. Carl will measure the roads with the exception of Circle and determine which roads need the white lines. Reimbursement of road crew personal clothing when tarring was tabled. Planning Commission. Supervisor Gutau had nothing to report. A motion was made to authorize the Watts Township Chairman of the Board of Supervisors to have the ongoing authority to request the presence of the Township Solicitor at an upcoming meeting when he feels it necessary and appropriate, without that request having been voted on at a previous meeting. All supervisors will be notified in advance. Gutau, Rudinsky, Paust opposed. Motion carried. A motion was made that the Township disseminates information regarding the requirements for driveway permitting. Gutau, Rudinsky. Brian Reifsnyder announced that at the PC meeting it was formally announced the existence of the driveway ordinance petition, and they have hundreds of signatures. Sean Krumlich questioned if his parents have a pothole in their drive, are they going to be penalized for not applying for a driveway permit to fill it? The board assured him no, they will not. A roll vote was taken. Gutau, yes. Rudinsky opposed. Paust opposed. Motion failed. A motion was made to pay the bills. Gutau. Motion died for lack of second. Supervisor Paust questioned the mileage submitted by Zoning Officer Bob Hart, and did he submit a mileage form? Bob responded he is a contracted employee. It was clarified to him that since he is paid mileage, he is required to submit the form. Bob will submit a form for his November activities. A motion was made to pay the bills with the exception of the zoning officer's mileage until we have his mileage form for next month. Paust, motion died for lack of second. A motion was made to pay the bills and any bills that come due before the next meeting. Rudinsky, Gutau, Paust opposed. Motion carried. A motion was made to hold an executive session on November 20th, 2014 at 7 p.m. at the municipal building. Rudinsky, Gutau, motion carried. A motion was made to adjourn the meeting. Rudinsky, Gutau, motion carried.
And get a motion, to accept the minutes as read.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
Okay, I'll second it. Okay,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Next will be the,
Not that it matters, I did attend the COG meeting, so. Nothing.
okay, well, your secretary requests the meeting is being recorded. Okay, got that. The board, any public comments? Okay, go ahead.
Brian Rafe, Snyder, 204 Notch Road. The last planning commission meeting in November, we had a productive driveway ordinance discussion.
You have any problem with that?
During this meeting, a possibility was discussed to include driveway paving standards as part of the ordinance. The driveway committee is therefore requesting that the board direct the township engineer to draft this
That tar
standard.
cheaper from ABC than from Creighton. And the 50-pound metal. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, I'll repeat it. We had a productive driveway ordinance discussion during the November 2014 Planning Commission meeting. During this meeting, a possibility was discussed to include driveway paving standards as part of the ordinance. The driveway committee is requesting that the board direct the township engineer to draft this standard.
Jerry?
Is this for any time they pave the driveway, whether it's existing or new?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Being for
Yeah.
inclusion as appendix D, I think.
Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever
Ordinance
way
makes
they're
a
putting
motion.
Yes.
May direct him to do that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Now, would that include when it's required and then how for each
I think
circumstance?
what I would say is that if they meet these standards, they don't need to get a permit.
Yes.
But if they don't meet these standards, it's got to be something simple that people know what it would be.
Understand it.
You mean for
They would need to meet
for repaving or for all?
for all paving, is what they're
Yes.
saying, new and, well, new one should be under new driveway, but this would be existing driveways.
Yeah.
And that would be whether they're paving it for the first time or repaving.
Exactly.
Okay.
Agreed. Well, that would all be
So
part
in
of
other
the
words,
standard.
Did you come up with a fee then, Jerry? That if you have to make a couple trips to
What?
a fee? If you have to make a couple trips to check these things out?
I should be able to do it at home. But I
Okay.
said it'll be time,
Okay,
whatever time there is.
okay.
So what they're doing is asking us if we would make the motion to approve Jerry to be able to make up these things.
Right.
That's what they're,
Okay, I make a motion to give Jerry authority to proceed with making up the stuff.
okay, I second the motion.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
I do have one question. Is this just for paving?
This is just for
Should it include anything for restoning?
Well, restoning wouldn't require a permit at all.
I'm looking at, you could have the same problem in restoning too, depending on what they consider restoning.
Well, they've already said that restoning would apply, so we've rewritten the ordinance such as restoning wouldn't apply at all. Well, I don't know, yeah.
Okay, I'll do it for paving.
Thank you.
Okay. The zoning officer?
You have my reports, it should be in front of you. There were
Super.
two permits issued, one to Ward and Carmelita Loudon on Huggins Road, and one to Nicholas and Angela Mavropoulos on Mill Street.
Actually, that's Marbropolis. I know it doesn't look like it. It's Marbropolis.
Okay, and you have your mileage form all up to date here?
We do have a new mileage form now, right?
Yes,
And that's going to be incorporated now?
yes.
And it shows the
I
purpose?
have given Bob
the purpose.
copies, yes.
You said last month that you would submit for last month's.
I did.
We have
I
that.
have, Frank, I did not make copies for you.
Do we have any copies here at all?
Yes, Carl has. Pat has.
I have one other announcement. As of October 9th, I am now a certified zoning officer, having passed the exam.
Congratulations.
You have the certificate.
Yeah, it's in,
Who does give that exam?
Pardon?
Who gives that exam?
The Pennsylvania Association of Zoning Officials.
Zoning officials?
Yeah. Where'd you take the test then?
here,
It's actually computer driven.
about
Oh,
that
okay.
much. We all need to speak up. Nobody can hear in the back.
Yeah.
The
I'm
cell,
now a certified zoning officer.
yeah.
Thank you.
You want to tell them about the cell tower?
Oh, we did get a letter from, from the zoning hearing board solicitor, who I reviewed when we got lawyers involved with the landscaping. And he wrote a letter to Verizon's solicitor saying you do not comply, just the way it was presented last month. And they sent a letter back and said, due to the weather, it won't be done until spring, but they will get it completed.
So we have correspondence, that's all that matters. That's all that matters, really.
Can we get a copy of that for the township file?
Yeah.
They got it.
Have a copy?
There is.
Yeah.
She has the original.
Okay, the engineer report.
I still have not heard anything about the stream bank restoration. My second, I will check on that again. Second thing is the loop step driveway. I did do the traffic study. It warrants to have a reduced speed limit through the turns. He does have enough sight distance for that location and the reduced speed. And he agreed to pay for all the signage, the traffic study, and driveway permit. And he's here to talk to Drescio and any of that.
Did you get written?
Yeah, he signed, I think, Bob Bob has the signature, I think it's on the,
Yeah,
is it on
I'll
the
bring it
zone?
to you.
Yes, okay.
He signed it.
So what will the speed limit be then?
I even forget whether it's 30 or 25. Forget what it was. You know, Bob?
I gotta
can give
order
it
the
all to
song.
him,
Seems to
so-
me it was
It's in-
35.
Huh?
It seems to me it was 35, but it could have been 30.
It's somewhere in there. But he has to study right with
Okay,
the driveway permit.
yeah.
Right, so what do we need to do to get the man his permit now?
I gave everything to Bob, so
I'll be writing it tomorrow. This is the check.
And he will not need a variance at all,
no.
but the traffic study and reduced speed limit is part of the terms for the permit. Now, how do we ensure, don't take this wrong, how do we ensure we get our money when we put the, is
There's
it
the money.
for the signs and
That's
Everything.
the study and everything?
Okay.
So we're covered.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that.
Thank you.
Okay.
So all the fees and
500.
expenses have been paid?
Yeah,
You're getting a permit for a new location
you order signs.
and everything's cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
My next one is the speed limit on Bucks Church. I went out and checked the speed limit. The speed limit is correct, 40 miles per hour. The two driveways, I would suggest that the driveway locations would require the speed limit to be 25 mile an hour to meet coming down the hill, to meet the sight distance requirement. But I would suggest that we put maybe hidden driveway signs. Would you put, Elias Linus, can you put what a warning speed limit would be for a hidden driveway? I don't know whether I've ever seen a speed limit on a hidden driveway, but can you put one on? It's not legal, but 25 would be the speed limit that it would be, and there's no reason to have the speed reduced coming around that turn.
Can you repeat what you're asking him? I'm not clear. Can you put what? Where?
I said, if you put a hidden driveway sign, I've never seen a little warning, like on a curb, you see a warning speed limit sign. The yellow marker below it might say 45 mile an hour or 30 mile an hour. It's not a legal document, but I've never seen them on a hidden driveway sign. But I don't know, I imagine you could probably put one of what that
So
speed
first,
should be.
first you're warning them there's a hidden driveway, and
Yeah.
then you're making a suggested speed of 20 mile an hour or whatever it happens below it on the same sign.
Yeah,
But it's not a legal document, but that's what, both driveways would be at 25 miles per hour down there, coming down the hill.
So I guess,
Well, could you put reduced speed rather than a specific speed limit?
We could. I said that the speed limit would be for those driveways. But I don't know whether, this other one that we acted on, it was the curbs themselves that lowered the speed limit, not the curb is good for 40 mile an hour. They come around the curve, it's 40 mile an hour, but the driveways are, you're coming down a pretty steep grade, and it's 25 miles per hour would be the speed that they would have to be going at.
I'm not sure about whether probably could do it, but legal enforceability is another question. I think it's more of a warning.
Yeah. So however they want to do it, if they want to do a reduced speed limit coming down there, you take it, they're coming up over in Buffalo Township, they're allowed to go 55. Then they hit our road, which is wider and smoother, and they're going at 40. And then we have these two driveways down there. So
what do you think? Which way should we go?
I I'm just putting the reduced speed limit, I'm not sure they're going to go that slow anyway. They're probably
It
going
don't
to go
matter
the
if
same
we
speed.
put 5 mile an hour, they're not gonna go. They don't come over the hill.
Then we don't have, you have to depend on the state police to enforce it.
So informing them that there's hidden driveways
Yeah,
is the appropriate thing to do.
That's what
If you
most
just
places
say-
do, they put the
Yeah, signs.
driveway.
I think what you're saying is if you just say that, then they don't know, where or what they should do in response to that. But if you put a little sign, a smaller, not a full-size speed limit, but a smaller one that says 25 mile an hour or whatever, they may think that.
Yeah.
but they're, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. And if it's not illegal to do it, it probably can't be enforced, but it certainly makes sense that it would make you think to slow down.
If you're going to put any type of speed limit sign, I think you need an ordinance. That's my opinion. If you're going to say hidden driveway, it's a different story, but if you're
Yeah.
going to probably put any speed limit.
Reduce speed and hidden driveway and go that route. That's what we'll do then. Because
Then
it don't matter, they're not gonna slow down, so it don't matter what we put there.
then the law,
What?
It's fine coming down the straight right there at the fields. Over that little hill, there's 3 different driveways right there. And they can fly over that hill.
Yeah,
That needs addressed. And right above my place on that hill, there's been 3 accidents. That little turn. And 3 accidents there last time. That would keep that.
When we've done a speed study in the past, Jerry we've changed the signage from, like, on a real sharp curve from 35 or 45 to 25. And you're saying,
You need a special speed study to take it down to 25,
Well-
I'm pretty sure.
okay, but I mean, Jerry has conducted speed studies on, 3 occasions now, I think?
well, do you wanna recheck spinning wheel for,
I can check.
yeah. He didn't come on.
so
Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
While we're discussing speed limits, Mr. Finical mentioned an ordinance, and the issue that comes to mind is, just to refresh my memory, on Circle Road, you're talking changing the speed limit signs. That's in the 2010 ordinance. That'll have to be amended to change the speed limits on the Circle Road, as it is in the ordinance.
Well, that was one of the questions I was going to ask. You said we need an ordinance to
make a
change
change.
the speed limit.
Yes.
We don't just need a study. We don't just need to do the study.
Well, it depends. I mean, you do need at a certain speed limit, you need a study. I don't know, what, 35 or 25, I think. Jerry, what about what are you changing it to?
We're changing, I don't know, Paul has it.
Well, in the
Bob,
ordinance,
what do we change them to?
Bob,
What do we change the speed limits?
on Circle,
on Circle Road.
Either 30 or 35, I don't remember which.
in the
But
ordinance,
it's,
it's
but it's just in the
45.
curve.
Yeah,
I think you do need a study.
Well, the study's
No, the
done.
study's done.
he
Oh,
did
okay,
this.
then you need an ordinance. You got to amend the ordinance if it's going to be legally enforceable. Yes.
And the ordinance being, what ordinance do we currently have?
2010 ordinance specifies the speed limits and has the speed
For the
limits for every
township?
single road in the township, and where the speed limits change. that
So
would
we
be
need to amend that ordinance
To come up with the,
for that section.
Correct.
Now, the study was done by our engineer. That's appropriate?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
So then do we have to hold a public hearing?
No, you don't need a public hearing, just need a motion
Motion.
to amend the ordinance and advertise it for adoption.
Right, okay.
So we should
So
make a
maybe
motion.
get all these speed limits changed that you want, and then we'll do one.
Motion for all of them.
All at one time, should we
Yeah.
make any motions now, today, right now? Or do we have to wait?
Well, if you have more that you want to change,
Yeah.
you might want to wait, but you
Okay.
can do it
Yeah.
right now if you
Yeah,
want
I'm
to.
gonna do it right.
Say what? we just have
Yeah,
to-
we'll get all our changes, and then we'll make one ordinance for the whole thing instead of doing a couple.
Jerry, I'd like to just address one thing. As far as the stop signs, the sort of the multiple stop signs that we had talked about at Notch, the intersection of Notch, that we had discussed before. There's been numerous times now where literally there's been traffic backed up coming off of Amity. Yes, because Brian lives right on the corner. But, so you can attest to that too, that basically coming off of Amity onto Notch, because there's that stop sign that, wasn't there before, it tends to get backed up quite a bit. I mean,
The other issue with the stop signs is they really don't address the original problem. And the original problem was traffic on Notch Road coming and taking that left onto Amity, and they wouldn't slow down coming around that turn.
Okay.
So that problem was never addressed by the stop signs.
Okay. Well,
Go ahead, Jerry, when you want to recalculate that and check that out.
maybe we figure, because I know you had talked about
Let's put a T there.
a T
eliminate that.
for a while that you talked about maybe, and I don't know Carol, how expensive would that be? Something that's possible and doable?
Put a
and-
T, yeah. Well, let's
I know
work on it, yeah, and we can amend it.
The traffic shouldn't back up out on the main road.
Yeah, I mean, it does though. I mean, shouldn't be, but it is.
I think what it
What-
does,
what-
is
what?
it's going to require an extra stop sign.
I'm thinking removal of stop sign. The problem, like I said, and also the stop sign, and everybody who lives on Notch Road, maybe you can say one way or the other, and I'm not being biased one way or the other, but as you're coming down Notch, you don't have as much of a problem because you're already at the corner. But when you're coming down from the dead end side of Notch down towards Amity,
Yeah.
and then
Make
you
it
get
bad.
to the end of the stop where the stop sign is, it was up further, now it got moved down further.
Yeah.
Just from my experience, I would rather see it moved back a little bit further towards the dead end side than as far down as it is, because to me, I have to really turn my head hard to look left. I mean, I don't know if that's,
When you take that turn, yes, yeah.
all right, so
Yep.
I know that, and I know you said it's sort of legally has to be whatever, wherever it has to be, but functionally, it's a lot safer, I think. I mean, some things have to be practical, I think. I don't want to get into the legality aspect of it, but like I said, the people who live on Notch Road are the ones that have to deal with that coming and going, ingress and egress of that. So, hey, we agree on something. That's good.
Okay.
So what did we decide to do with the speed limit on Bucks? Just put up, are we authorizing to put up hidden driveway signs for now?
Yeah, right now. Yeah, and when we do our ordinance, we can put in there.
Yep. But for now, we're
putting
the
signs
board's
up,
agreeing
yeah.
to put up hidden driveway
Driveway,
signs.
slow speed ahead. Okay, the SEO, there's no report. The solicitor, you don't have anything else?
No, I do not. I would ask to be excused.
Okay, no
Get
problem.
another meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just had a couple questions for you while you're here.
Go ahead.
Who can rescind a motion after the board has acted on it?
The board?
The board or the person who made the motion?
No, the board.
The whole board can rescind the entire motion?
Yep.
So the person who made it doesn't matter?
If the board makes a motion, they have the authority to rescind it. I don't think it matters who, what do you mean, who makes the motion?
Yeah, like, let's say I made a motion
And it passed?
and it passed. Who can then rescind that
I
motion?
think anybody can.
Anybody on the board?
Yeah.
I wanted to clarify that. And
You
what
can
is-
make the motion to rescind it, only the board can rescind it.
So you have to have a second and now.
Yeah, I mean, you need a second and a vote to rescind it.
No, but I'm
He's
asking,
asking physically which person.
which person can make the motion
I think
to
anyone can.
to rescind the motion?
Yes,
Anybody on the board can make
Yes.
the motion to rescind the motion?
yes,
Even though it doesn't matter that it's not the person?
correct.
Okay. What's the status of a plan or application after the time frame or extension of time has passed the date for action by the township? What is the status of that application or plan or whatever it might be?
After the 90-day time period,
After the 90-day or further extension after that date expires?
and there's no action
And
taken,
there's no action taken.
be deemed approved.
It's deemed approved as submitted. So And the follow-up question to that is, after the time has expired, the only legal action the board could take would to be approve the application as last submitted.
Assuming that the time period was not met in the municipality's planning code and the ordinance, yes.
Third question, does the Sunshine Act require all township official action, decisions, and deliberations on decisions to take place at a meeting open to the public? I think that's a yes.
Is the what?
The Sunshine Act require that.
Require what?
All official action, decisions, and deliberations on decisions to take place at a meeting open to the public.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say generally maybe, but I want to, whatever the Sunshine Act says, I mean, decisions should be made in the public, generally, yes.
Generally. All right, we currently have a motion that was approved by the board that says after the board votes on an issue, the secretary can change that vote outside of a public meeting. Does that, can you look into that and see if that makes?
If you refer me the motion, I'll look at it. If you want to refer something to me to give a legal opinion on, I will.
I think that's a good idea. Can we get the board to refer that motion to our solicitor for legal review?
What's the motion?
The motion that was made to, Pat made in October about the secretary can, after, it started out after the board votes on an
I think we should
issue,
let it go.
Oh, and that's it.
the secretary can change that vote outside of the meeting, basically, is what it said. So I'm just asking that the board refer that to our solicitor for review. Does that make sense?
Well, there's some things we really, when you're told that you got to change something,
We didn't have to change that. The question, it's a legal question. Can we do it or can't we? And I think we need the legal.
I'd have to see the motion you're talking about.
Right. I'm not asking for a spot decision. I'm asking that we refer it to you, send that motion to you for a legal review.
We can do it on our own.
I think it makes sense. If it could jeopardize the township, and doggone it, we don't want to be jeopardizing the township. We need a legal review of it. Let's say it happens and somebody fights it, then we're jeopardized. If we can get a legal review now, and I don't have the specific motion in front of me, but it's in the minutes from October.
Wasn't it that Nancy would refer those questions to the supervisors?
Nope. Nope, it said that Nancy had the authority to change it if she felt it was in the best interest of the township. At that point,
Yeah.
they appointed Nancy to determine the best interest of the township without even conferring.
I think Nancy has pretty good judgment for the most part. I haven't found her to have,
I don't think anybody's arguing that.
well, I know, but
We're arguing
your
whether it's a
question
legal
is,
action
action,
to
no.
make a decision outside of a public meeting after the board has voted on it. It's to change that decision, whether any individual, and all I'm saying is send it to our solicitor, please, so we protect our township. Let him give a review.
What would it hurt to have the solicitor review it?
it's nothing, no big deal. We can send it out and go to a later
Okay,
date.
thank you.
Move on. Right. Fire company,
See you guys.
thanks.
Thank you.
Well, first and foremost, I want to apologize for the heat. We're working on it. I'd like to have a new system dialed in. But I gave you the monthly report, financial report. Other than that, I don't have anything. We've been pretty busy, again, unfortunately.
Okay, Nancy, do you want to go over all the old business stuff down there, because you have some answers?
I did draft the Rising Sun letter. I put it in your box, Carl.
Yeah,
I will forward it to the other supervisors
Okay.
to see if that's appropriate. As far as the audit goes, Pat, you talked to Tom
Yep.
today.
Yeah.
His mother passed away. She's been sick for several months. So that's why he's been focused on that instead of the audit. But he did tell you,
Yeah, he'll be coming through for us.
did he say?
That he will be coming through for us. His mom had passed away, and basically that took all of his time. So he was taking care of her and a lot of
Yeah,
things.
because
So that he would take care
he
of
said don't
things.
get it done now because I
No,
got letters
do you
sent to
wanna
my
make a
house
motion?
Yes.
on
Okay,
the
and we
Oregon
also-
State.
I'm sorry. We need to make a motion that he can take,
Oh, okay,
the
yeah.
auditor can,
Yeah, we can.
to make it easier for them to get it completed.
Well, I'm going to make a motion to make it a lot easier for Tom if he can come to the building and get his stuff he needs instead of coming to the building to do the work.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
What was the previous motion?
That he came to the office and physically sat there and did the work. And with the time frame that he's in,
Working on it.
it would be
What's-
quicker for him to be able to do it at his home.
Now, what are you going to do with the records then? That's my question.
He will take the records just like if we had a
CPA.
CPA.
Right.
It's the same principle.
What are we, will we have a copy of the records on file while he has them?
No.
We
I
had
think
before.
that's poor judgment.
Well, if you want to spend $3,000 on a CPA, which the records are going to go to him, I'm not going to make a copy of every record. You don't do that when you go to a CPA.
Well, here's.
I'm trying to
I
get it
understand.
done.
If we sent it to a CPA, it would be gone for a month, and it would be back. Forgive me, but if we'd have given him these records in January, we still would not have them. That's the point. That's the whole point. You know, you give him
If
the
you gave
records.
them in January, we'd probably be done by now.
No, we wouldn't, because he's had them since June. He's had the availability of them since
Yeah.
June, and he hasn't come. That's my point. Now, we went through this last year. We were asking questions of what was in the records. We didn't have them.
Well, then what we can do, we can make a motion to hire a CPA. Anyone in favor of hiring a CPA? Spending township money?
Not if we can get it.
Huh?
We're gonna,
$3,000 to
lot.
$5,000.
25,000?
3 to
No,
5,000.
3 to 5,000.
Yeah.
you should look.
We have to do a request for proposals, which will take another 30 days.
And we've got a letter from the state, meaning we've got to get this thing done. So I say that we get this, now that we've made contact, we understand the situation, I say we give Tom Renier another chance, get this thing taken care of, which I think will be done in a timely fashion at this point.
Well, we just approved him taking, you guys
Right.
just approved him taking those, so he
Yep.
should have them.
Yep,
The consideration is the exact same thing took place last year. He actually had the files last year. He didn't have to come to the office.
He won't have to build the books this
But-
year.
yeah,
He will just,
Nancy's got it all
Nancy has it all.
figured out,
On
and
the quick
Last
form.
year, he had all the records in hand.
because he didn't have any spreadsheets.
All right,
I'm
last year,
sorry.
he had all the records in hand, and it still took him till June or April.
Because he
of
had to
next
build the
year.
books. There were no expense records, there was no check ledger, there was no payroll ledger.
And the same thing, he hasn't.
He
for
has
this
it
year.
now.
He's had it all year, that's the point.
You guys decide.
okay, and we're
All
gonna
I'm
go
saying
as
is
okay.
you've allowed him to do it, come, take the records. But you need to reconsider, I think the board needs to reconsider for next year, you may want to consider a CPA.
There's a gentleman like.
It will be expensive.
Go ahead. Your name?
My name is William Garner, I live on Knox Road. My question is, how many pages of documents are we talking about here?
I'm sorry, I hear you.
Is it 1,000?
Oh, I don't know how many each individual, it's 12 months worth of,
Okay, but how many pages in 12 months?
I don't, they're talking about every invoice, every receipt. I honestly can't tell you.
They come in to us as a township, and we scan them into a file. Why can't we just give them the file in the future? We don't have to give
I
our
could
copies
scan
to
those.
us.
Scan, yeah, that's
Yeah, I
a
could scan those.
good idea.
That's a good idea.
Scan them in.
That's a good idea.
We keep the hard copies, we should be
Yeah.
able to let the hard copies go.
No.
I didn't think of that.
And then this way,
Okay.
he has it.
That's why you get paid the big bucks, right?
Good idea, thank you. Okay, I can do
Yeah,
that.
that's good, thank you. Thanks.
Yes, yeah.
I know that different times, different organizations that turn around and drop in, when they did leave premises, some of the things we lost,
I-
never came back. So that's the chance you take.
That's true.
Yeah. You can scan it.
I will
Yeah, I'll
scan
scan
them.
it.
All right, so what's,
Absolutely.
so what's gonna happen now? Is he gonna come get the hard copies, or is he gonna get
No.
the scanned files?
He will get the scanned
He's got the
copies.
scan files now.
So-
That's route.
Yeah, okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
so what we're in
Let's
business.
revisit the motion then. The motion was that he can take what the papers work out.
He'll get the scanned copies. Make a motion, he takes the scanned copies and Nancy's gonna scan.
I'll second that, I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Uh,
All right.
Okay, you're gonna close out the Orstown Bank, Nancy.
I'm gonna hold off till the audit's done, now that I know it's gonna be done in
Okay.
a month or two.
Okay, the saldo, how are we doing on that? Jerry?
He gave me the revision.
Did
I
he?
just spoke to Linus about that.
Okay.
I will get a copy to each one of you to make sure it's what you need, what you want. Then Linus will review it for legal wording. Then we will advertise it. Then we will adopt it,
What are we on? Sorry,
or if
On
not.
The saldo,
on the salary.
yeah.
Credit card.
We're still, the credit card, we're still
Well,
gonna go with
Still the same.
the 3 years, right?
All right.
Okay, the letter is.
Letter we already talked about.
The audit, yeah,
Uh,
537.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from the gentleman with the 537 Act. Have you heard anything from him? Yeah, we'll give him a call.
Okay, the website posting. Do you still
That
need
goes along with
assistance on that?
security.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll still, there's a couple things I have on the table for that, so.
Okay, then we're gonna new business.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Did we contact 911 about Pond and Fox Lanes?
Well, I need to find the addresses. I wanted to talk to Ambrose a little bit about that yet. I'm a little confused. I'll be honest, I'm
Usually,
confused.
Chris put the addresses up.
Well, I wonder if they have them for all the lanes in the township.
They do.
Unless it's a new name. I don't think he put any new names on that map.
Yeah, that's,
He has a better highway. I don't think he put any new lanes,
Right.
designated lanes to
Okay.
the map Chris originally did he?
no, that's rolled up in the corner?
Right, right,
Yeah, I think, because that came later, because Wendy was still on.
right.
I don't think there's designated names for new lanes you put in. So
Yeah.
if we know there's a development going in, that's already not named.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
The development would name those, is that
Right.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Correct.
No. My question is, didn't you say there is a pond and a Fox Lane?
Yes, there's 2 lanes.
That's what I was told off Avery River.
Yeah,
That
there
was
is.
my question last month. And I did see there is a pond lane, which I think is actually his driveway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
It's
3
actually
lots in
on
there.
view. I went by today,
Okay.
and if there is a sign that
There
says
is one up at his.
Pond View,
View.
and then there's one on the other
I
side of
think it
his
is Fox.
Yeah.
property. It's either Buck or
It's
Fox.
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 And both signs are there.
Both signs are there, but there's gotta be numbers for each street, because there's multiple lots on
Right,
each.
there's multiple lots back there, as long as each lot has
Yeah.
an address
Number.
to one Fox Lane.
Right.
Well, actually, then we
five
should,
Fox Lane.
I'll get a hold of him to, what numbers he wants to use on each lane.
Well,
Well,
it's got to be a 1 or 2, however many lots there are.
Yes, I know what it gotta be.
Okay.
So that's around, because Chris isn't there.
So
Okay?
You'll get a hold of whoever and get
Yes.
the numbers from
And I'll
him. You'll
get-
get that to
and-
the secretary, and the
and then she'll
secretary
get
will
to-
forward it to 911.
Right,
Does that process make sense?
I will get with you.
okay. Okay, new business, adopt our budget. You have to advertise that.
I'm still under oath.
I heard,
No, you still-
I'm still under oath, I'm sorry, I had a couple more items. The road inspection we did, what, 3 months ago, 4 months
Yeah,
ago?
yeah.
We were supposed to get a written report. Pat was gonna write a report for us.
Carl and I, we already discussed that.
She
He's
had,
got-
had the thing there and didn't mark streets or nothing, so.
So
it just
Carl
went-
has-
Went away.
It's already done. You weren't at the following meeting.
I'm sorry,
so-
we're supposed to get a written report. Are we getting, I'm not hearing whether we're getting
We're
one
not
or not.
getting one.
No.
We're not getting a
We're
written
not.
report
No.
on
No.
it at all.
No,
So Carl and you have discussed it, and the third supervisor doesn't even
You
know.
sit right there in the truck with us, And you were writing, had a yellow pad.
I was writing stuff, and I thought we
Okay,
were getting a
then you
written report, that's what I've been
Well, we
waiting
don't
on.
need one.
Okay, so now we're not getting one, like, that one's answered.
Okay, but you have anything else in old business?
On this,
Yeah, we're done on the old, I think.
still under old business, the motion that you made last month for the solicitor to attend, the end of that motion says, the chairman of the Board of Supervisors to have the ongoing authority to request the presence of the solicitor at an upcoming meeting when he feels it necessary and appropriate without the request of being voted on at a previous meeting. All supervisors will be notified in advance. Now, I wasn't notified tonight.
Yes, you were when Nancy sent you your agenda, it has on here, solicitor will be in attendance.
Well, it says all supervisors will be notified in advance.
Well, okay, then how far in
Now, listen.
advance? Or
All right.
what we'll do
I'm
is.
speaking,
we'll
Pat,
strike it.
please, let me speak. I'm trying to ask the question, okay? The question is, all supervisors will be notified in advance. I read that to mean in advance of the chairman of the board directing the solicitor to come. He's going to call and say, hey, I'm going to tell the solicitor to come, so that the supervisor's aware. That's what I read this motion as saying. And I question that I would want to be notified, okay, Carl, you want to, okay, bring him, I know he's coming. I
Yeah.
can prepare him with some questions. Not getting in an agenda 2 hours before the meeting. You understand that? That's my question. Is that what this motion is intended to say?
Yeah, that's what's intended, and it,
All right,
we went by it.
can we try to do that in the future?
Or
We'll
we
try.
can rescind the
If
last
you-
part.
but-
Or we can rescind the last part of it, the
Yeah.
last part of that. If you
Well-
you deem it possible or necessary, then it's a matter of you just deem it necessary.
Right, I'm
Well, I
going
think
to
the
go
board
new
rescind.
business
I
now.
think the
Okay.
board should be notified. It makes sense, and Carl's agreeing that that's the intent.
Okay.
That's what I was asking.
That's it.
all the old
New
business
business.
side.
Okay, on our budget, Nancy,
We need a motion to adopt the 2015 budget.
okay, I get a motion to adopt the budget?
I second it.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? I have a question while we're on the budget. We adopted a resolution last month.
The tax resolution, correct.
That's correct. And I think from reading the minutes, that the tax resolution,
It's already opposed, so.
excuse me,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
what was your comment?
I thought the motion was done.
The motion for the resolution. Is that what you're asking?
No, to adopt the budget.
Yes, the budget is done. I'm asking a question now on the resolution that we adopted.
Okay,
That's what I'm on.
okay.
It says a motion was made to adopt Resolution 1405 establishing tax rates at .2163 real estate, .600 fire for 2015. Was
Right.
that the entire,
I left out Mills.
well, Mills, is
Yeah.
that the entire resolution that we adopted?
Yes,
That's the
Yes.
wording.
yes.
Yes.
And I'm proposing, or reporting that that resolution is inappropriate. Somewhere, we're required to show a dollar amount. Are you familiar
Yes,
with that?
yes, it does on the resolution.
That's what I just asked. Is that the entire resolution?
Well, I don't put the entire resolution in the minutes, but yes, that is the entire,
I
it
think we
has
need-
a dollar amount.
I'm sorry, I think we need to put the entire resolution in the minutes.
You never put the entire resolution in the minutes because we're referring to it, and when we go back to that piece of paper,
All right.
it's all
All
listed
right,
there.
I asked if that was the entire resolution. You are telling me that there are dollar amounts,
Yes, there has to be.
and they state
Yes,
so much per hundred
Yes.
so it is in there.
yes.
Yes.
Then we are covered. If you
Yes,
would have answered this
absolutely
first
we're
time, I'd have
covered.
been done.
I wouldn't let it be uncovered.
That's all.
Okay. Next thing would be, we have to reinstate this, our membership for our January meeting, adopt this, perhaps you see,
Yes, We are part
We
of
have
the
that.
PSAT's Unemployment Compensation Group Trust. And what that means is the employer
Right here.
pays unemployment for each employee up to $8,750. What they are doing is creating an intermunicipal agreement. It's just restating that we are a member of this group trust. We get a much lower rate than we would if we went with the Department of Labor and Industry, the state, because it is a consortium of townships.
I understand
So
what you're saying.
they are asking us to adopt an ordinance just stating that we are a member of this. It's an intermunicipal agreement. It's not changing dollar amounts or anything like that. It's just making it legal is what it's doing.
We are currently a member of that.
Yeah,
We are currently a
We just have to
member.
renew our-
We have to advertise it, not more than 60, less than 7 days. There will be a copy in my office if anybody would like to come and read it, but it will be advertised in the newspaper. So I just need a motion to advertise the ordinance.
I'll make a motion that we need to advertise the ordinance.
I'll second it. All in
And
favor?
Linus did look at it, and he said, yes, every township that isn't part of this group needs to adopt this ordinance.
Okay, all in
All in
favor? Aye.
aye.
Okay. Okay, date and time for reorganization meeting
Oh, did
as
you?
advertised January 5th,
No?
1 or 4.
Yes, the reorganizational meeting is dictated by Township Code to be the
Yeah.
first Monday in January, which will be January 5th. I am a township secretary for 2 other townships. We worked it last year that we did it, I think, around 4. I'm asking the board to
Said 1 or 4.
set 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock. I do have to advertise it. I
Yeah.
do have another township
1 or
meeting
4
tomorrow
on
night
this day.
to hopefully coordinate the times. And it's just an organizational meeting.
Okay, why don't we set it
One
for
of-
4 o'clock again?
Wait,
We can go home.
just the organization part? Or are we going to follow it with our regular meeting?
I was just the organizational meeting because then we will have our regular meeting on Wednesday.
Right, okay. That's
Okay.
Do the
For-
question, don't the regular meetings for next year need advertised?
That was,
It can be part of this,
Oh.
this advertisement?
yes, I left that off of there.
Sure.
I did want to
Yeah.
talk about that, so we can advertise it all in one.
advertisement.
If you are agreeing to keep your meetings first Wednesday of every
Okay.
month
6:30.
at 6:30 here in the fire hall.
We're gonna get some
and-
people, go back to the beauty center. And we advertise the planning commission same time. Well, you make them one
Yeah,
ad, you
yeah,
might
I
as well
see.
do
Yeah,
everything.
that's a
Right.
good idea.
Every-
The auditors meeting has to be January 6th.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a very confusing time. So we
Well,
have to have
let
our
me ask you-
organizational meeting the 5th, auditors the 6th. I can advertise it all in one ad if you make the motion to set your meeting dates the same and the planning commission dates the same.
So I'll make a
We have
motion.
to advertise the organizational meeting regardless.
Yes,
It has to be
regardless,
advertised.
yes.
So we're going to be paying for advertising.
Correct.
Right, you
Now,
can do it all in
The
one.
question is, and then what we normally did in past years was after we decided the meeting dates,
We
we
had-
advertised that in January. But
Well-
now,
But we know it's going to be the same, so why not do it all at once?
Yeah, 'cause some other people are doing that, I saw that. We couldn't,
you
yeah.
can do it as long as you know it's not going to change.
But your meetings aren't gonna change, they're gonna be the same first Wednesday of every month.
Right. So let's make a motion to
Yes, please make a
keep,
motion.
Okay,
keep the
then
thing
don't
as we had in the past for
The meeting
Wednes-
times and dates.
Meeting times and dates the same as we have.
Okay.
And then the reorganizational meeting at 4 o'clock? Does that work for you? Or is that 1 o'clock
Yeah,
better?
she said either 1 or
At
4.
1 o'clock.
Okay,
is
1
better.
o'clock is better for Nance,
1 o'clock?
is preferable.
You're probably working, you'll be working, yeah.
So
1 o'clock?
1 o'clock then,
Okay, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Are you here? I'm going to be here.
Okay, 1
Right.
o'clock.
But the advertising, the first item listed would be the organization.
Correct.
Right.
And then after that, you're also listing
The,
first Wednesdays for soups,
and second.
second
for-
Wednesdays for planning
Planning
commission,
commission.
and also you're gonna do the auditors.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Second, well, I made the motion, so you have to second.
second it, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, and under the roadmasters, we got the lines painted. Everybody are pretty happy about that?
No.
Yes, that's
No.
wonderful, Carl. For my old eyes, I can now see the road.
Got a very nice letter from Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, okay, and we're gonna reimburse the road crew for the tore that damaged their clothing, but I gotta work that figure out.
Okay.
Okay, planning commission report?
Yeah, the only, actually, we met last,
Man, I'm thirsty.
the last PC meeting and had probably more of a, I guess, productive, peaceful negotiations than we had had in a while. So we're going to continue with that, working with that. Now, the only question I would have or suggestion I would make, and this is in reference to your website that you have.
Yeah.
I have looked at that. The only thing is, if it's possible, if you're going to have the recordings of the township meetings and the PC meetings, if you could record those, or not record them, but put them on your website in their totality. In other words, the total thing, because the one for the October 2014 meeting, that was cut off.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. That was not in total at all. So I just thought if you would mind, if you could put them on, it's good you want to put them on.
Yeah, I'll check that.
But if you could please put the whole thing on.
Yeah,
So-
that should have been there.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
We don't, as a township, put our minutes on our own website every month.
Yeah, we have our own website, our own township website
We put the minutes on,
that we put the minutes, yes, correct.
we do.
Have
Yes.
they been updated?
I
They
don't
know they have not been updated.
Yeah, last was 2012.
So your answer is still no. We've been trying to do it for a year
Yeah.
or two.
Do you have a suggestion?
Yeah, it should be pretty easy. I mean, whoever types them up, they should be just done into a PDF file and
Put them in?
Well, no,
Yeah,
it's not that
yeah,
easy.
I'll tell you what, there's,
No, it's not.
it is.
The software for
There's
the
a software.
website.
It's a little bit different, and there was a course that I know Wendy had taken. Maybe you're talking about,
have we talked to anybody else outside of our realm that handles websites that can look at this for us? It's gotta be easy.
CEDACOG is who set the website up, and I will be meeting with them to learn how to do that, because the software right now is kind of different, and I can't change
manipulated.
things.
It is a little sketchy. I know Wendy had problems with it too, when she was secretary years ago. And she had taken the course that they presented. Maybe you're saying we should I guess if all else fails, we'll look in a different direction.
Yeah, just, I mean, there's gotta be somebody within the township who's easier, that can look at websites. They're very easy now.
Yeah,
And
Wendy-
maybe we should scrap using that software and look at new
You
software.
think?
Oh, yes.
To get us
Yeah.
into
Yes.
state, so
Okay.
we can update two big things.
I gotcha.
Within a week after the meeting, the minutes should be posted.
Yeah.
And stuff, so everybody can see. The second thing is we're paying for advertising and stuff, in the paper for different things that come up and stuff like that. Those same things should be posted on the website. In a timely fashion at the same time,
Right.
so other people can look at it. Because not everybody gets the paper until you can look at it.
right.
That argument has
Yeah.
been,
Are we able to post stuff like that?
I'll look at what the cost is to redo the website, or not redo it, but use different software.
Different software.
that's why I need an IT person. I'm not an IT
Yeah.
person.
Are we currently able to post stuff like
I
the meeting
can't.
date? Or
No, I can't.
post anything?
Yeah,
If I may,
yes, Brian.
personally, I would go ahead and scrap what's out there, take everything off of there, and I'd upload something like WordPress or Zoops, two different content management systems. For Zoops, I wrote a document management system that at my last job handled 250,000 documents when I left. It was to make uploading easy, it would work fine. I worked as a IT professional for the Office of General Counsel, and websites was my specialty at that particular job. So if software exists, they could probably be set up within a day.
Okay. Are you volunteering?
Wasn't asked, but I mean, it could be done.
We might pick your brain. We spend too much money. We all volunteer for things. No.
It would
Well,
only take about a day to straighten it out, I would say, unless there's some odd thing.
yeah.
with the server.
I know the one that we do have is not user-friendly at all, because I know, like I said, Wendy dealt with it, and the CEDACOG, was it CEDACOG? Yes. Yeah. And it's like, and I went to one of the courses, and there were about probably 20 secretaries from across Perry County, well, not across Perry County, but who were taking the course, and everybody was about ready to throw in the towel.
Yeah, it depends
So-
on the software and how it's set up.
Well,
They had done that because they had gotten a grant,
Yeah,
and it was a free website,
Uh-huh.
but.
and free is
it's like
not
she's-
always,
Yeah.
Well, the software that can be put up there is free, no cost at all. WordPress is free for the download, Zoox is free for the download. Zoox will run my document management system, WordPress has its own stuff, you might have to pay a little bit for the document management system. I think we pay $75 for that document management system. It's kind of cheesy, but it works.
okay, well, we'll definitely, like I said, we might pick your brain.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's a good idea,
Yeah.
scrapping it.
Yeah, no, it's,
I would.
I mean, I do have a photograph on it. By the way, where'd you get the photograph for yours?
I forget who gave it.
Did you steal it from mine?
No, I don't know.
Because it's very similar to the one that we have on our website,
Yeah,
that's
I
all.
forget where, I did copy a
It's
lot
on-
of stuff
it's
from
on-
the township website.
Yeah, no, because it looked very familiar, and I
Yeah,
thought,
yeah, I don't remember, I mean, I could have, but I don't remember, I thought somebody else put it up there.
yeah.
We have somebody else that's handling it.
Yeah, because it looked like the shot on Amity Road.
Uh-huh.
It is, right?
Yeah, I
That
think it
tree,
is. Yeah.
that tree, yeah, see, that's.
Yeah, I think it is, I think
that's-
that's what I was told.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to
Okay.
explain something to people. We need a new snowplow for the big truck. I was able to get a snowplow free, and we mechanized them together and spent about $800, and we saved the township $8,000 to $9,000 for,
Yes.
Thank you, Carl.
yeah. I can use something about the bills.
Oh, and Donna had a street light
Yeah, I'm ready to go on bills right
what was it? At Old Trail and 1115, she had called about the street light out. And I spent about 45 minutes explaining to PP&L what the numbers were on it, because that's what they needed. And eventually, I finally got it through to them what we need. I gave them the meter number, because the pole numbers apparently were not correct, or, so I gave them 3 different pole numbers, and we finally gave them a meter number, and that's what helped. So hopefully, then keep me posted on that if you happen to drive down that way. Donna, if you would too, keep me posted on if they get that thing fixed, because they said it would take 3 to 5 days, or 2 to 3 days. So, okay, we need a motion to pay the bills.
Well, no, he's
Or
got, yeah,
Well, I
there's
had-
5 categories. He's
Yeah, I have questions on these.
overrun.
On our bills, they're listed here this month, but when we did our budget meeting back in October, the numbers on that sheet were to October 14th, I think, was the date to get. Now, at that time, some of our categories were already over budget. And then I've added in what's been spent since then. I'll give an example. In category 409.0, which is municipal building expenses, we budgeted $3,500. Currently, adding in what was spent through November, we're at $9,952 in that category for building expenses.
You have them, Nance?
The next one is
Frank, was that the door repairs that needed done?
Yeah, that was on
Garage door.
Well, I'll just go down and give you the numbers, and then we'll discuss them. In the highway supplies, we budgeted $20,000. We're currently, if I've added everything up right, $27,972 roughly. In the payroll taxes, I'm not sure what ones should have been in from October, which category they went into, but we budgeted 6,500, we're currently at 8781.
That's because there were taxes from 2012
Right.
and 2011 that were not paid, and we
I
had to pay
understand.
penalties and
I'm
interest.
just saying what we budgeted and what we spent.
Well, we will not have any penalties or interest
All right, so-
for 20,
So for our 2014 budget, we budgeted 6,500 in that category, and we spent so far 8,700 in that category. And I understand the reason.
Okay.
I understand.
okay.
In the 4380 category, which is highway general, we budgeted $30,000. So far, we spent $44,118. In the 432 category, and this is always a category that does go over, snow removal. We budgeted 18, we spent $30,848. Now, we had a bad year last year. All these categories are way over budget, and we're still spending in each category. That's illegal. We can't just spend. So we need to know how to make it legal to continue to spend money. I can't vote for the bills because
Oh, then we should have, that's
We're
something we
way-
should have asked Linus before he left.
we're
Well, it's
way...
not illegal. There are only certain times of the year that you can amend your budget. And this is not one of those times.
When are those times?
Well, we adopt it tonight, and then I believe it's February. We can amend it up to, I'd have to have my, but it's
Well, you're
it's
talking
in the
about-
first couple months of the following year that the budget can be amended.
So you're talking about amending the entire budget. I'm talking
Or
about-
line items.
I'm talking about making these expenditures legal. I've seen the second-class township code, which is where this is addressed. Section 3202F says, "No money shall be paid out of the township treasury except upon appropriations made according to law." Now, if we continue to pay over what we budgeted, those allocations are not made according to law. That's the concern. In some of these, we are 3 times over what we budgeted. So we should have been correcting it months ago. But to continue to pay these bills tonight and continue to add to them next month without correcting whatever needs done to correct it is inappropriate.
Okay,
I have a question.
So what
We
can we
should-
do?
Yes.
I don't know.
that's what he
Something
should
like
come
this.
ask
Are- are
Linus
the-
before he left, if he come up with that.
Are there things
So I
that
asked her that in the
are
beginning.
unusual?
What's the definition of law? That's the key word, what you read.
It's not illegal.
Um,
It seems to me that
What is unusual on this is the line painting is double what was
Anticipated.
anticipated. The EIT tax, the revenue, is less than what has been in the past because they had a new person come in who had to learn the system, and it's backed up, and they're starting to get back in line. The other, we've had a lot of truck repairs.
Yeah.
That's, that's a very huge expense.
Those can't be avoided if they're,
Right, they're old.
Well, I don't think, mind you, I'm not
What else is
arguing.
unusual is, we did Pine Tree. That was about $7,500 in just materials.
All right, I'm not arguing the expenditure.
Well,
We
Pat asked
paid
me,
them.
what was unusual,
All
so,
right, well, we paid those expenditures. I think we all understand that. These bills, they came up, they were paid, the money was spent anyway, but it was inappropriate for us to pay them without allocating them. They haven't been allocated. We should have stopped and reallocated the money so we were on budget.
well, okay. Where in the township code book did it say that?
3202F, second-class township code.
why don't you refer the question to Linus? Because none of
Yeah,
the
I-
leaders are going to be able to figure it out.
Well,
tonight.
I can't pay, that's a good idea. but I can't pay the bills because I know I'd be breaking the law.
I've had it, Pat, I'm serious, I'm ready to walk out. She's upset.
What's gonna happen?
If I have to keep dealing with you, Frank, I'm out of here.
Well,
It's
then,
that simple.
we have to
because
obey the
you-
law.
Well, why didn't you ask me this question before this meeting? Why do you put people on the spot? I don't know the answer to that.
I
None
don't know
about
the
have
answer
it.
either, obviously, but I can't pay the bills is what I said. All I said was, I can't pay the bills.
Sign my paycheck.
I make a motion we pay the
Well,
bills.
what? You just want to tell all these people, no, we can't pay you?
I don't know, this should have been addressed.
Well, then why
Then why
didn't
didn't
you
you bring it
ask
up?
me this
You know, I asked you
before
that at the
this
beginning,
meeting?
Frank, if you had anything there, why didn't you ask
Ask Linus
Linus?
while he
You're
was-
not
Are you
gonna-
after
I'm not
my
worried
job
about
now?
No, I am not. I'm not after any job.
You were
In
you were
October.
after this man's job at the executive session.
I'm
You-
not after any
Yes,
job
you
right
were.
now.
You sat at the executive session and you asked.
I'm not
you-
after
it was
any
a
job
quid pro
right now.
quo. Quid pro quo.
I
You
am
said.
trying to
Oh, no, and
balance
I-
our budget.
Excuse me. You said
All right.
you said that you would resign your position if we would fire Bob Hart. We would fire Bob Hart, and you would be appointed.
I did say that.
Yes, you
It
did.
makes sense, it makes perfect
And-
sense.
and you would-
I am not after any job at this moment.
Oh,
Now,
at this moment, at this
Now,
moment.
can we move
That-
back to
We
where
had to
we
hire
were,
him
please?
for a year, though. That was part of the deal, guys,
right.
just so everybody knows.
We need to fix the budget.
Wow.
Somebody make a motion to pay those.
Okay, I'm making a motion to pay the bills.
I'll
I'm
second it.
making a...
Second,
Okay,
Carl
we're having-
seconded.
We're having a
All in favor, aye.
discussion
Aye.
on the bills. The
We're done with the
discussion on the bill
discussion,
is
Frank.
They are all, you've been informed that they are all, many of them are over budget. Your
Thank you
allocation
for your
is
help.
inappropriate.
Okay,
I'd like to address the board.
Tomorrow,
we'll ask Linus about
you
it.
call Linus and tell him how we can adjust it and fix it.
Okay, and I second that motion if it's a motion.
Okay.
I'd like to address
Okay,
the board.
all in
on
favor?
my-
All in favor? You in favor
Favor, aye.
of what you just said? Okay, got that? Yep. Okay, so we're gonna check with Linus. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
because he
that's
can give
it.
us it, then we can adjust it.
You're gonna a motion to adjourn?
No, I'd like to address the board.
I'd
on
like to
my-
make a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to address the board.
Let me see what you want to address the board about,
I'd like-
Frank. Please?
I'm talking to the chairman and I'm asking for the floor. I'd like to address the board briefly.
Give you 1 minute. Go ahead.
Well, it's going to
That's
take
it.
more than 1
And
minute.
then I
1
would
minute,
either say what
adjust.
he's gonna,
Yeah, it's
Says-
going to be the same as before all the time. You
give
made a
it-
motion to adjourn, I
I
second it.
second it, and the meeting's
Go
adjourned.
off.
Didn't even get into new business.
We did the new
Yes,
business
we
already.
did, we did.
Yeah.
We didn't do what we wanted to find out,
What'd you want to find out about?
what's going on with that, distribution box.
The distribution box. She's asking about the distribution box.
What do
Tell
you-
her about
I
the
told-
distribution box.
Did you tell her, John?
The meeting's officially adjourned, by the way.
I'll talk to you.
Here,
No, it's-
this is what I want to address the board.
Okay. Let
Are you going to let me do it?
Let me read it.
Right here. No, this is what I want to
Linda, just so you know, I don't want that box on my property. I've already
Okay,
talked.
okay, now back up. Hold, the meeting ain't over. I'm giving him a second here, so he's gonna read his thing.
But I did ask so I could see it.
I read it. Just now, go ahead. You're going to the bottom part.
I'm going to read what I'm going to read. You give me the floor to read. All right. Tonight alone, numerous board actions that defy state regulations and are just ignored have been identified, but this board continues to ignore the requirements for most of them. These issues and the board's fair treatment of this community, these citizens attending, need to be addressed and corrected by this board if the people are expected to maintain any level of appropriate respect. Several months ago, a number of citizens entered some written complaints to this township. And basically, they were just asking that you stop making decisions behind closed doors. Not only did the board refuse to correct that problem, but now you've adopted this new policy, which we're getting Linus to review, that actually makes decisions behind closed doors. It changes our board vote. That makes no sense. Regardless of how you disguise it, it's illegal. It's as simple as that. those citizens' complaints are legitimate, and the board should honor the people's demand to hear all your decisions at public meetings. That's the way the law is written, not behind closed doors.
Kind of like taking someone's job from them, but okay.
I didn't take anybody's job.
You certainly-
Now, please, I have the floor.
Yeah, you got it.
These current policies that you guys are adopting, they invite mistrust from our people. That's why we get it. When you say that you're going to change stuff behind closed doors, of course you're going to invite mistrust.
You're the one who's got the mistrust.
Yep.
No.
Also, it should be unquestioned that our citizens attending these public meetings, they'll have their views heard and considered without degradation, without intimidation, or belittling from any board member just for expressing their opinions. But this has not been the case from either of you guys. In fact, during a recent public meeting, Ms. Gutial actually resorted to calling some of those citizens names just because they announced that their plans to do something and you didn't agree with.
And where did I call them names?
You were calling names.
In public? In public?
At the meeting.
What meeting?
At the town. At
Which
the
meeting?
At the meeting.
Which meeting? Not at the meeting, which
At the
meeting?
planning commission meeting.
And what was said? I'd like to know what was, who did I call names and what did I call them?
I believe I have the floor. Just because they
Well, wait
disagree
a minute,
with you.
there's got to be clarification here.
I'll tell you that I personally encountered your name calling also in emails that you sent me. Truth is that when you first learned of my nomination petition, rather than calling me and asking me what the devil's going on, you sat down and wrote me a long email in which you called me names.
Oh, my God. You know
And
what?
so is my wife. You called me names to my wife. Now this is,
You know what? You're delusional is your problem.
it's all, and to further evidence this, after that planning commission meeting, you sent an email to one of the other citizens in which you called the group that you were arguing with idiots.
That was a private email.
It's public record.
No, it isn't public record.
All right, you called them idiots, arrogant bullies, and you actually said, you are absolutely done with any contact with that bunch of bleep, bleep, bleeping idiots. Now, that's not the way we talk to people.
Oh my God, Frank, you were the...
Talk to anybody like that, Frank.
Once again.
It was a private email, and it was about an inappropriate action on their part, making some sort of comment about our engineer.
It's done, you're
that was
1 minute,
inappropriate.
it's 2 minutes, you're going up 3 minutes.
You've stated that you want the police at our meetings, and you've made big issues about it.
Believe me, I'm not the only one who has asked for a policeman at our meetings.
To keep the peace.
To keep the peace, yes.
To keep the peace.
Yep.
But the only time the police have ever had to intervene was with you and your Bob. It's the only time we've ever seen police intervention at our meeting. Now, how does that make any sense? But you make a big issue about it. I've never done anything that required police intervention, but you and your Bob have, and that makes no sense to me.
Frank, you threatened her at a meeting and there were witnesses.
And you've threatened me, I've had to go to the state police, you've threatened my life.
There is a report.
And there are witnesses to that. There are witnesses to that.
So don't say that.
Yep.
It's not true.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
I'm done. You want to argue everything? I was going to resign, now I'm not.
You know what, you had no plans to resigning. That was a trick and you know it.
Hey, Pat.
That's just the way you do
Hey,
it.
Pat, it's written out. It's written out. I'm done.
No, well, we'll see you in court.
It's written out.
Shame on you, Frank, for putting this township through what you have done.
I make a motion to adjourn. Are you ready to adjourn?
Yeah, it's adjourned. I made a motion to adjourn. Here's the check.
I don't, well, I'll hold it. I won't be cashing it. You just blew your chance for me to resign.
No, you know what?
It'll work.
You ready, Carl? It was written out, Beth. I'm sorry. It was written out.
It was written out for what? To do what?
Answer it tonight so you can accept it.
And so where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? Check. I don't know. Let's holler at it.
I didn't holler at anybody.
You did last month,
You
you
and
did it,
Bob
Bob.
did it at one meeting, but listen, let's just drop it. Now listen to me. You do have, you already have your CDs. Do you remember the planning commission meeting, a good example? We calmed down, we worked with, the meeting before that is when you called names.
I didn't call them names in regard to them, not
Oh,
all
yes,
that.
you did. You told them they were rude and ignorant.
They were, well, I'm sorry.
Those are
Anyway,
names.
I didn't say ignorant. And they were rude.
Whatever.
Pardon me?
I never threatened your life either. I don't know what in the world you're talking about, but trust me, if I'd have threatened your life, you'd have me in jail. And I don't call the police on my neighbors.
The police were called because Donna Elmer was telling people to come down my driveway.
Well, did you call the person that trespassed?
I talked to the person, several people.
Multiple
people.
down there. She sent a whole slew
So,
of people down for
how
Come and pick on the person, that particular person, for just talking to somebody casually and saying, you should check out their driveway.
Oh, no, it was not a casual, it was a stream of.
That's why the state police
On our
lives
trail
next to
cam,
them.
we had
We have a
people
trail
coming
cam,
down.
it's a
Our
security
neighbor
cam.
said, what's going on? I've never seen so much traffic on our own lane. There's 2 houses on our
He's
lane.
a former state policeman. He says, what's going on here? Everybody's coming down this lane. Nobody comes down our lane.
I don't know how this happened.
She, is the one who told everybody.
Yeah, and you called the police on your neighbors?
I called the police on neighbors because they wouldn't stop.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you told me that. I definitely check that out. Okay. Okay.
And I don't know all the ins and outs of the
Right.
county, but they have an accountant there.
I'll find out about it. Lucky you.
But anyway.
No, I'm glad to hear that.
But I said, but that's what they did it,
Yeah.
and that was a first-class township.
Well, they
With
did.
that.
Yeah.
I just thought I would tell you. I
No, I
wasn't about to
appreciate
bring it
that.
up. I said, no.
But no, I'm glad you shared that with me. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So at the end of the year, your expenditures
Right.
and your, yeah,
Well done.
income, revenue, and expenditures have to equal. And you always have a slush fund in there someplace that you have to take it.
Right. Right. No.
Because the township doesn't spend that much. Okay,
Thank you, Jerry.
yeah, I thought I would tell you that.
Well, I do, I
That's
appreciate that. That's
how
something
they
for me
did
to
it.
check out. I mean, I don't know everything. I never professed to know
But
everything.
I sat through so many meetings over 20 years
Right.
that I've had some of these things pop up that we didn't. The engineering, we never went over our budget.
Right.
Because I had, what, 3 employees. But I was always laughing. I said, my engineering budget with me down there was more than our township budget up at Liverpool Township.
No.
When you got the
Yeah.
medical insurance and,
Yeah.
and the salaries and,
Right.
and I'd always buy something.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much.
Jerry, could you adjust, can you maybe look at